Dynamite Download.
You Dynamite Download, your home for all positive coverage with all elite wrestling.
Oh, you guys, positive energy.
This reality, like, it is me. Like,
Who let this guy in here?
This is what pro wrestling's supposed to feel like.
I'm saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
I said, Mariah May said, who?
Because I'm so driven, and I'm so moved to like what I want to do.
The versus Brian Keith match. It's awesome.
That's so cool. You got like these creepy ass dudes.
Oldest ride, longest line.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
I never say never about anything.
Back to do an interview with those guys. You know why? Because they spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download. Woohoo! I am, of course, Mind Runner, not Mid Runner. Don't go there. And my guest at this time is not the SPD. It is the Miss Courtney. The Scully to my Mulder. Courtney, thank you for joining in. Also a member of Dynamite Club Gold. What's happening?
What is up? I was happy to answer that call once again in honor of my brother SPD. Thank you for having me. You know how we do for SPD.
Absolutely.
Right now, we're in the midst of Hurricane Debbie down where I live in Virginia. So, lots of rain, lots of trees down. Praying the electricity don't go out.
Whereabouts in? You said in Virginia. Whereabouts? In, like, are you getting hit with the strands or the tornadoes or?
Well, we're getting hit with tornadoes and strands. So. And whereabouts like my city is Martinsville, so we're 1 hour away from Greensboro, North Carolina, and we're also an hour away from Roanoke, Virginia. So we're really, really south, and we're like on the border of the Virginia, North Carolina line.
Okay, so you might be close to Aaron's Creek, Virginia, where a certain millennial cowboy hails from.
Actually, I am. I'm about 30 minutes from Danville, Virginia, where he is originally from.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, yippee-ki-yay. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We got some cool stuff. A lot of really awesome Dynamite, really interesting Dynamite. A lot of things happen. By the way, what's going on? Full Tilt Deb.
Hey, dude.
Yo, what's going on, my better half? And, of course, the Raz.
What's up, Raz?
Is in the house. What's going on, Raz? All is well. We are surviving and thriving. But before we get to the Dynamite recap, we got to take a look at our draft rankings. Here it's time for the Dynamite draft. And look at this. Look at the dogfight on this board. Of course, Brian Cervantes, who totally doesn't have an inside scoop to anything going on in AEW. He's leading again, 44, commanding lead. But again, anything can happen, a bad night or for one or good night for another. But look at Full Tilt Deb. Right behind with 7 points behind Brian, but also a distant 6 points ahead of the two guys battling out for third place, Bobby and SPD at 31. But don't let those guys, they're busy fighting each other. When who's creeping up behind them? We got Courtney at 28, and then
somebody's knocking on heaven's door.
Someone's knocking on your door with 26. Thank you, Dax, Cash, and Camille. because their performances have garnered me a huge boost in my points. So I am still in the game. Never say never for Brent. I know it's sometimes we celebrate our victories, our growth. He'll be double digits soon, but Courtney, as you know, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So, all right, do you think Brian's gotten too far away, or do you think between now and All Out, anybody can take him?
I'm a little optimistic over here. I'm not a pessimist. So I'm going to say somebody's going to knock Brian down from his kingdom.
And who
it
do you
might
think?
Be a full tilt Deb.
Yeah, if we could somehow harness our mojo to full tilt Deb, never count full tilt Deb out. She's a Cubs fan. She's a Blackhawks fan. She's even a Bears fan. So she's used to, she's used to disappointment. But I think in this case, though, she's always come through on the cards and the draft and everything. So I have a feeling full tilt Deb is going to really give Brian a run for his money. And look how close, but 20. I'm at 26. You're at 28. Bobby SPD at 31. You're only 3 points behind those two.
Right.
I'm only 2 points behind you. I'm 5 points behind them. A good night for any one of us puts us ahead. So
it really does.
Anything can happen. Just looking at everybody's team here. I've got, thank you, Dax and Cash. I mean, the Acclaim showed up, but I haven't seen them wrestle. MJF has been wrestling. Also, Bobby's got a good crew here. SBD, Brian, of course, he's got a monopoly on some good wrestlers here. But look at what's your guys here. You've got a solid crew here as well.
I got a crew, but I want to say get well wishes to Trent Beretta. He had neck surgery last week, so we want to wish him a full recovery. Come back better than ever. Is what I always tell my peeps. So
yep. I agree. And we also, this has been in the news a lot, and it's kind of a sad thing because you have one, and also SPD has another. The Lucha Brothers, it does look like they're heading to WWE. So we might be losing them. But to cheer us up, it's all about the Scoot in the house. What's going on, Scoot? Awesome to see you. Thanks for being here, fam. It's great to have you. But yeah, it does look like the Lucha Brothers are going to be heading over to WWE. And this is one of those things where I'm bummed that they're leaving AEW, but I'm kind of happy for them if this is going to be a chance for them to really, as long as they get used properly. I just would hate for them to get lost in some shuffle. But I think with the state of WWE now, post Vince McMahon, I think they've got an opportunity. What do you think?
Well, if that's even true, you know how sometimes rumor mill is rumor mill. I absolutely love the Lucha Brothers. I'm a huge I just wish them well in whatever they do. If they want to go back on the indie scene, or if they want to go somewhere else, like Hog Wrestling's out there. I was going to say Mission Pro Wrestling was out there, but we
talked about that. But for those of you that don't know, Thunder's Mission Pro Wrestling, they're going to go on a hiatus after their next event, but they're going to come back and be super strong, and we're looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, and it's a testament, I think, to the state of the wrestling landscape as for talent. And this is a testament to what AEW has been able to do, is provide an alternative for talent where the negotiation power is kind of back in the hands of the talent, and that can only be a good thing, in my opinion. So and for every lucha brother that we lose, it really breaks our heart. You never know who we might get coming the other way. You could argue Mercedes Moné. Some people say she's been kind of a bust. Some people say she's been tremendous. I think some of the benefits that she's provided, I think, have been behind the scenes. Because if you look at the attention that the women's division is getting lately, I feel like it's been a lot better. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree with Mercedes Moné, even though I know her as Sasha. I like her persona as Sasha better than Moné because she's lacking the fire, the passion. I'm sorry, Mercedes. I love you to death. If you're watching this, I love you to death, but you're lacking so much passion and fire in your promos. And if we could work on your promos a little, get better on the mic, you might have me back.
And I think I have noticed an increase in that as well. I mean, I think this is going to be time for her to get more comfortable and just find her groove. I think one of the best things they've done is added Camille Brickhouse to be her muscle. Because it's her promos have a little more bite when she's got this Amazon standing right behind her. And, Camille doesn't really need to cut promos. I hope they don't. I think one of the biggest mistakes they did with Marina Shafir was give her a mic. Yes. I think, Camille just needs to just look like this, standing behind Mercedes Moné. But yeah, I think that I think I know why they did it, but it was kind of a rough start from Mercedes to not wrestle, but be part of the show. Yeah. And then suddenly, until the title match. But I think one of the things I like about AEW is if you give them enough time, they'll develop, they'll tweak, and they'll develop, and like a bonsai tree. I think eventually Mercedes is going to find her groove. I'd love to see if she adds more to her corporation. Maybe the Renegade Twins. I don't know. We'll see.
Love that. I would absolutely love the Renegade Twins would fit this stable perfectly, I think.
Now, I think it was also a good move to have Camille take on two wrestlers, a 2-on-1 match. Essentially a squash, but it really showcased what Camille can do. What are your thoughts on that? And then the aftermath with the live via satellite Britt Baker promo afterwards?
Well, I don't know if I should say what I feel about Britt Baker, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she's got kind of a backstage reputation. I mean, the latest thing to come out is that she's part of the reason that Cody and Brandy left, but that's coming from Conan, so take that with a grain of salt. But right. What are your thoughts though on this feud? I mean, from a storyline standpoint, and just kind of what's going on, and who do you think is going to come out on top at All In?
Well, from a storyline perspective, I'm not a fan of either one right now, so I'm sorry, but it lacks so much stuff. It lacks the passion for the business. I mean, it's just weird to see Britt up on the Titantron, even though she's suspended, but allegedly that suspension is gone. If you watched Mercedes promo video or whatever it was today that came out earlier, I watched a little bit of that, so.
Yep. I think it's good. Yep. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. My predictions, I think Mercedes is going to retain, but I'm with Scoot here. I'm a huge Camille fan, so I'm actually excited for Camille to be getting some reps here in AEW. But Megan Bayne is just at any moment, I feel like she's going to make her presence known, but I'm not sure it's going to be here. Jamie Hayter, though, I could see after All In, I could see Jamie Hayter returning at All In, leading to Jamie and Britt versus Mercedes and Camille. Hayter and Camille going back and forth would be a slobber knocker for the ages. Just I am with you 1,000%, Scoot. The Scoot. That would be a tremendous slobber knocker, and I'm here for it. What do you think? You think Jamie Hayter's gonna make her arrival at All In?
If Jamie Hayter, because how can you hate her? See what I do that? I became a fan of her when she first came on the scene. Absolutely love Jamie. If she does not show up at Wembley, which I hope she does, it is a huge missed opportunity for AEW.
I think she's ready. I think they're waiting for the right moment, and I think All In is. I think that's going to be the moment. They got to start dropping some hints though. Like Britt needs to say, like, you don't be a hater, and maybe that's kind of corny, but something to start to drop those hints. Like remember when they were dropping hints about CM Punk, but they didn't actually say he's coming, but they were dropping those wink hints. Yeah, and then the first dance happened. So yeah, I think the pop at All In when you hear Jamie Hayter's music, I think that's going to be tremendous. Well, let's talk about the other women's match.
Okay.
That we had. This was Mariah May versus Viva Van, and I thought this was great because Viva Van is, like you said, we're talking offline before the show. She's killing it on the indie scene, and I love that this wasn't a squash match. This was Viva Van was able to get some really good offense on against Mariah May. What were your thoughts on this match? And then, of course, the aftermath that came afterwards.
Oh, I love this match because I tell you, I was happy to see my girl Viva Van on AEW television again. Mm-hmm. And I hope this leads to her being signed. Hint, hint.
Yep.
Front office. But
you hear that, Tony? Wink.
But I love the match. It shows that Mariah May, she's a tough competitor. She's very well known on the indie scene because that's where I got to know her too. So I'm a big supporter of the indie scene, and I try to follow the people that I like and connect with. So this match was brilliant booking, and it did so much good for Viva because they did not make her look weak at all. If anything, they made her look like a star too, which I love that quality. Yeah. And the aftermath. Oh, the aftermath, y'all. It was so good. Like, go back and we watch this match because I highly recommend it. But the present after.
Yeah. And everybody saw it was like a Sideshow Bob thing. It was like on one side, it was a picture of Mariah May and Tony Storm. And on the back, it said, "Die, Mariah, die." And and then of course, who shows up again with the crazy eyes? That, are you ready to die? Because I am. I mean, that whole storyline. We're gonna get back to that in just a little bit, but yeah, I can see Viva Van getting a more regular stay. She's kind of in the realm. I mean, I think Lady Frost is light years above a lot of the talent, but I could see Viva Van getting at least a tier 0 contract where she can kind of routinely show up. Mariah May, though, she's one of those female wrestlers that she can have a great match against just about anybody. She really does. She emotes very well. She's very high fly, high action. She does very well with a lot of the different moves. And I think having her part of AEW has been a huge benefit to the women's division. Rumors are Mina Shirakawa might be coming back so down the line when her Stardom stuff expires, that to see her reunite with Mariah might be interesting. That might be a great time to introduce women's tag team titles. That's something we at Dynamite Download been really like pushing. And that might be a cool tag team to bring back the Club Venus.
That actually, because they have like their chemistry is magical, Mina and Mariah. So I would love to see them as a tag team. Perhaps let them be our first tag team champions. Hey, front office, make that happen. Make the women's tag team titles happen, please, pretty please, and thank you.
You heard it. You heard it from Miss Courtney herself, Tony. Let's make it happen. But speaking of making it happen, let's make sure we rise for the greatest American hero, our American hero himself, the American champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, versus Kyle Fletcher. This opened the show. Courtney, your thoughts on this opener, this incredible banger that these guys put on?
I was like, really? Where's the American hero? And Joey Hader.
Yep.
There you go, my boy. I was shocked when we opened with this, but I understood it.
Yeah.
It was a great match. Of course, there was a little color, as we like to call it, because we don't like saying blood over here.
Yeah.
So, I'm not too much on the color thing, but I see what's happening here. It's not only to make our lovely scumbag MJF here. Where's the towel?
Right.
No, where's the scarf?
I'm not putting the scarf on today because, I don't know about our scumbag anymore, but we'll see.
I don't know either, but it was such a great showcase for this young man, Kyle Fletcher.
Yes.
And woo, Kyle put in some blows, but unfortunately, the Don Callis family did not win.
Yeah, and that was an interesting kind of angle there towards the end where Don Callis was encouraging Kyle Fletcher to cheat with the screwdriver, and he didn't. And so now, and according to Don Callis, if you could hear him after MJF beat up Kyle Fletcher, and of course Will Ospreay comes to the rescue, and Kyle Fletcher is beat up in a similar vein as Daniel Garcia. I was interesting that Don Callis he was blaming Kyle Fletcher for not using the screwdriver, like it was his fault that he lost because of MJF, that he should have cheated first. I have a feeling Kyle and Will Ospreay are going to kind of part ways. Essentially Ospreay has parted ways from the Callis family. Sounds like Fletcher will, and I wonder if we're going to get Mark Davis to come back, and so Aussie Open might reform. But there's another injured wrestler that's making his way back very soon. Has already been taken to Twitter to post some ominous messages, and he is part of the Callis family. He said the return of the Book of Hobbs. And so Hobbs coming back to the Callis family might be quite the twist that we're looking for. I'd love to see Hobbs back. Where do you see the Kyle Fletcher Ospreay thing going? Where do you see with MJF, and where do you see all of the storylines coming out of this whole thing?
Well, like you said, I will obviously back up a Brub. Al Fletcher tag team. Okay. And then, honestly, I see MJF still going solo. Because anybody who he teams with, they kind of get screwed over, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Look what he did to Wardlow. So,
Yeah. And where's Wardlow? The only time he actually extended himself for friendship, Adam Cole turned on him. So now, MJF, I don't think is going to want to join anybody.
No, I don't think I don't see MJ. I see MJF really as a solo star instead of tag teamer anyway. When they first did that, I was like, okay, this is something new and fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like MJF's really just a solo act, really.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I did like the Pinnacle when it first started.
Yeah.
But then after a while, that kind of lost its direction. But I did like the Pinnacle when they did that. But speaking of interesting factions, hi guys. We had the Learning Tree was present, and the Bad Apple.
No,
had his.
Call it the Leaning Tree.
The Leaning Tree.
The Leaning
Not the Learning Tree. The Laming Tree, as some might say. Took on the Bad Apple. Took on Brian Keith. Took on Katsuri Shibata, and interesting match here. I thought that both guys looked good. Shibata being much more of like a submission trap kind of technical wrestler. Brian Keith is kind of, he can hang, but kind of a brawler as well. And I thought this was very interesting. But then we also, of course, saw a return at the end of this. And I was also expecting another return, but I think Samoa Joe is still filming Twisted Metal. But yeah, your thoughts on this match, Brian Keith versus Shibata, and the aftermath that ensued.
Really, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I don't see Brian Keith as a bad apple. I love the bounty hunter gimmick more. I'm just being real and honest with y'all, because somebody got to be real and honest with y'all. And plus, the Leaning Tree puts me to sleep.
So you're not a fan of the Leaning Tree, huh?
Never will, and never have been. So, sorry, not sorry. But I'm a huge Shibata fan, and this was a great match, and I was happy that Shibata came out with the win. And hey, who appears but this man? Yes.
Yep.
Hook.
The Hook. Send Hook. Hook came out for the rescue with Shibata. It's still looking like a 2-on-3, but you never know when a third person might show up. Will we see Suzuki again? Wouldn't that be something? Where do you see this feud going? Obviously we got the Redwood, Large William, and we've also got Brian Keith and Chris Jericho, and then we've got Shibata and Hook. Do you see him coming back? Like, do you see Samoa Joe coming back to help, or would perhaps somebody completely new being a third person with the Hook Shibata group?
All right, so the Hook and Shibata group. You know what? They need Joe. Joe
is gonna kill you.
Joe is gonna kill you. Yes, my boy Samoa Joe. He's gonna come back. These three guys are gonna take on the Leaning Tree, and hopefully come out with win, and then the Leaning Tree will go bye forever. Maybe
it'll get chopped down.
Yeah, the tree will get chopped down.
I like what Raj says here. He makes a very good point. The whole Jericho thing, it's going a bit off the rails. I think more serious Jericho holding the glue together right now would be best. But, well, I wonder. Partly I think the Jericho thing is a response to some of the Jericho hate he's been getting. And I think at times he was kind of making fun of CM Punk a little bit. But yeah, I wonder if there was some plans for the learning tree that went sideways. Like there was more than just this feud with Hook, and it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. But I mean, at the end of the day, Large William, Brian Keith, Shibata, Hook, they're all getting TV time. Yeah. And I think they're getting some reps, and I think this can only help them. The eventual point where Jericho does ride off into the sunset. I don't see Jericho retiring from the show. He might pull a Bryan Danielson and go part-time, but I see him jumping on commentary. But I think that anytime the young guys are getting any kind of look, I think it helps. And so it's good. It's going to be pretty cool. I think it's good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about the trios division. First of all, the segment on Collision where Christian Cage, everybody's favorite father figure, he was passing out the trios belts. He awarded Nick Wayne, his prodigal son, and then he gave the other belt to the most valuable part of the patriarchy, and that's Mama Wayne. So you notice how Kill Switch Saurus doesn't have the title. There's definitely milking this moment here. What are your thoughts on this now? It sounds like what they're building to. We got to see a return of House of Black. There was a really great segment. The 3 members of House of Black, as well as the Bullet Club Gold. So there's going to be a match between those two factions, and the winner gets a title shot at All In for the trios titles. But that Christian's going to get involved. What do you predict is going to go down with this, and where do you see this ending up? I have some theories.
I have some theories too. Like right now, I think what's going to end up happening to this so-called family or father figure is that Kill Switch is going to beat the hell out of him. But please go back to Luchasaurus. Please. It just sounds better. Kill Switch is like, it makes me think you're killing an actual switch.
Yeah.
With like a switch or something. Electricity, But yeah, honestly, I see this trio losing. And now, rightfully so. Because
who do you see them losing to?
Ooh.
Because let me tell you my theory, and I want to see what you think of this. Okay. I think they're going to have the Bullet Club Gold versus House of Black match, and Christian's going to cause shenanigans to the point where possibly through Christopher Daniels, Tony Khan is going to declare that the trios title match at All In is going to be a 3-way. It's going to be House of Black versus Bullet Club Gold versus the Patriarchy. And I think at that point, that's when we're finally going to see at the end of that, when the Patriarchy loses the titles. And I think what's going to happen is somehow Christian's going to lose the title, and he's going to blame Kill Switch, and the crowd, everybody at All In are going to be chanting Luchasaurus, clap, 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 clap. And then he's finally just going to give him the choke, and he's going to give him the slam before time, and then he's going to be back to Luchasaurus. I think that's what's going to that's the way to go. If I, overbooking this, if this is typical Mindrunner overbooking, I would throw Marco Stunt in the mix and have Marco come down and join in and bring him back, and tell Luchasaurus, hold out his hand and be like, the sun's getting real low, Luchasaurus, kind of like the Hulk in Scarlett Johansson. I don't know. I think that's where they're going. But between Bullet Club Gold and House of Black, though, who do you see ultimately walking out as who do you think will be the next trios champions?
Oh God. Look, I love the Bang Bang Gang, guns up. Okay. I hope we can say that on this. Yeah. Bang Bang guns up. But it took me a little while to get into the House of Black. But once I got sucked in. Don't kill me, Colton and Austin, because I love y'all. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say House of Black wins.
I think that's a safe bet. I think that as much as I love Bullet Club Gold, and I don't think that's over. I mean, again, that could continue the feud. Right. But I think it's going to be. I think House of Black needs the win. They need the gold. They need to reestablish themselves as the spooky dominant group that they are. It would be cool if Julia Hart returns and gets involved some way. Maybe spits in Luchasaurus's face or something, or I don't know. Or maybe gets into it with Mother Wayne.
Mother Wayne, yes, I love that. But by the way, cheerleader Julia, I hated you. I hated her, but I absolutely love the House of Black, Julia Hart, and I've said this numerous times. She is my most improved of all AEW's talent. So, yeah, I just wanted to give her flowers again because, I love women's wrestling and I'm a big supporter of it. So, I want to see Julia back. I hope she's ready because I'm ready for her to make a comeback.
Absolutely. And she's a testament to what we were talking about earlier about how AEW, they're not always the best at debuts, but they know when to tweak something and make it better. And when she pivoted into that House of Black character version, the Stevie Nicks Instagram witch that Nyla called her, I thought that's tremendous. I think that she's really hit the ground running with this character, and it's been great. And I think she'll get a big pop when she returns. So that's something to look forward to. So a lot of cool stuff going on in the trios division. But also there is the tag division's getting some interesting heat. But before we get to that, Orange Cassidy and the conglomeration's becoming one of my favorite factions. It's because it's such a hodgepodge, but specifically Mark Briscoe, and then how Kyle O'Reilly is responding to Mark Briscoe. I think Kyle O'Reilly needs to start dressing in redneck kung fu gear. I think he needs to be kind of like Mark Briscoe's Karate Kid. Mark Briscoe be the Miyagi, take him to the ranch and teach him redneck kung fu. Because, there'll never be a replacement for Jay Briscoe. But I could see a Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly tag team that could really do some damage.
Well, I love this idea. I was getting ready to say, nobody could replace Jay Briscoe ever. Them boys, I've been of them boys since they were on the scene. And it was a tragic loss for all of us, but especially the Briscoe family. And I get choked up talking about Jay because that's just how much I love the Briscoe brothers. And I know Mark has said back when the first the tragedy happened that he would never do tag team wrestling again. But with Kyle O'Reilly, I think it's a go, and I would love to see that if that's something they want to do, and especially if Mark wants to do it, I go for it. It's a genius plan. Go for it. And also shout out to Baby Briscoe who made his AEW. This was so cute.
Not just that, but also the way that when Mark handed his belt to Kyle and he said, "Hold my baby," and he starts tossing it up in the air. I mean, that's Full Tilt Deb was telling me that's the best version of Kyle O'Reilly. That is that character that he's playing. But again, with the hurricane and the travel delays, Orange Cassidy found himself all by himself going up against Roosh, Roderick Strong, and the Beast Mortos. Not to mention, you had Taven and Bennett behind Roderick Strong. So Orange Cassidy did what anybody would do, reach out to some local boys to come join the fight. And who better than FTR? And FTR dressing like Orange Cassidy with the shades. Notice that Dax had the Bret the Hitman Hart shades on. I thought that was a nice touch. FTR and Orange Cassidy taking on this was such a great match. I'm surprised at the ending. I'm surprised at Roosh taking a clean pin, but this was such a nonstop, just action. There was so much going on in this match. Beast Mortos is really establishing himself as such a vicious competitor. I'd like to see him join the House of Black or something. Roosh, of course, you know how I feel about Roosh, and even Roderick Strong was doing well, and of course, you had Tweedledee and Tweedledum from the Kingdom jacking around at ringside.
Wait a minute, I can't let you disrespect my boy Matt Taven now.
Matt Taven, yeah, exactly. No, seriously, they're killing it. I mean, as sad as the Undisputed Kingdom gimmick fell apart with Adam Cole and Wardlow getting injured, Roderick and the Kingdom have really been shouldering this and really doing a great job staying his heels. But I thought that Orange Cassidy and FTR made a great trio also, and this whole match was great from start to finish. There wasn't a boring spot at all. No. Even through the picture, everything was going. There was something happening at all times, and just when you thought, okay, they're going to take a break, Beast Mortos does some kind of 360 spin or Roosh does some crazy kick. It was really fantastic. But then the aftermath is the Acclaim came out, and I don't know if Max was supposed to say something and his microphone wasn't working, but it does sound like now we've got a bit of a feud between FTR and the Acclaimed. Both are arguing that who's the number one contender to take on the Bucks. So first of all, your thoughts on this match, and then secondly, your thoughts on FTR in the Acclaimed and the Young Bucks.
All right. Well, this match was nothing but amazing action on action on action. We even had some boys get involved by the name of I'm Matt Taven.
Matt Taven.
And Mike Bennett get involved, beating up.
Bennett was in it.
Yeah, so it was hard hitting. It made me excited for these three trios because in the future maybe these two trios could possibly go for the trios titles. Maybe just fantasy booking over here. Like I do sometimes. So, I can see both of these teams being absolute killing it as trios. And, man, Orange Cassidy got friends on friends on friends. Hint, hint.
He got some top guy friends.
He got some top dog friends. I like to call them top.
Yes.
Dog. But yeah, nothing short, but a great match. I'm wondering where this leads, but with Mike Bennett and Taven getting involved, it's gonna be magical. I have a feeling it's gonna be something magic in the air that's about to happen.
What do you think about FTR and the Acclaimed? First of all, like, who do you see one of them at All In and one of them at All Out? Do you see there being another three-way dance? Is there going to be an eliminator match? What? All All right, I guess that's kind of your statement there.
Well, it's not only a statement; it's a due to SPD.
Nice.
Yes. These are my heart glasses, as I like to call them. Sometimes I might turn into the ice woman in these, but yeah, I had to represent SPD somehow tonight, so I figured why not grab my sunglasses?
There you go.
But yeah, FTR is fantastic as a tag team, and I've been saying it since they were in WWE, but then they left and came to AEW, and it's like they're creating magic. Keep creating that magic. Although, you know how I feel about the lame. Yes, I call them the lame, ladies and gentlemen. And thank God they turned the mic off.
Oh no.
Max Caster, his mouth gets him in trouble. So, it leads to suspensions, and if you don't want somebody who has a feature being suspended all the time because of his mouth, it's best to turn it off.
Yeah, we things need to be done about people running their mouths and getting suspended. I do agree about that. Especially when it's running their mouth behind the scenes too. But that's a different story. I respectfully disagree with you about the Acclaim. Everybody, not almost everybody loves the Acclaim, but I am in the Scissor Society. I love me some Max Caster, Anthony Bowens. I do foresee, though, at some point, Anthony Bowens going on a killer singles run, because I think between the two of them, Anthony Bowens is night and day, the better athlete, but Max has the rap and the charisma, so I think they've made a great team. And I said it before, they really earned a lot of credit in the Blood and Guts match. They really earned some stripes there. I feel like they earned some scars. They proved themselves to be on that level. But if I'm booking All In, I want Bucks versus FTR.
Yes, I would do the same thing, even though I appreciate what the Lame has given us. It's time for them to break up. The breakout star in my eyes, and always been in my eyes, is Anthony Bowens, not Max Caster. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, I still have a place in my heart for Max Caster. I do think he's got a lot going for him. But I definitely think between the two of them, Anthony Bowens has a singles run future that he could really strap a rocket to, and I think that would be tremendous. But strapping rockets, let's talk about two of the most I don't know how to describe this, but legends all over the place here. Jeff Jarrett versus Bryan Danielson with guest commentary, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I mean, this was like a childhood kind of holy cow moment. And again, if you told me that I would be a Jeff Jarrett fan in 2024, if you told me 5 years ago that I'd be a Jeff Jarrett fan, I would laugh at you and call you a liar. But Jeff has really been like a fish to water at AEW. He's really just thrived. And I don't mean you're hitting the bottle there, but this whole match I thought was tremendous. In this house, there's some people that aren't big Bryan Danielson fans at all.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
I'm talking about one person in particular, but I thought this was a tremendous match. I thought the aftermath was interesting. Talk about the aftermath. We had Swerve come out, and really interesting how they're building this matchup. and how Swerve, he isn't, isn't a clear heel versus face. Granted, Swerve is really kind of, if you could say there's a heel in this match, you could make an argument for Swerve, but I don't think it's really a heel versus heel. I think it's Swerve really playing the mind games and really getting into Bryan Danielson. I mean, they're building up this match to be tremendous. And I like the fact that in Norfolk, Virginia, we're going to have Swerve versus Wheeler Yuta. But I thought this was tremendous. I thought the build-up for this, the aftermath was great. We're going to talk about the aftermath of the aftermath in just a moment. But let's talk about the match first, and then the build-up to Swerve versus Danielson. What were your overall takeaways from the main event here?
Okay. The main event, I was hyped for the main event because there was one man and one man only I was interested to see, and that is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I was a huge Dragon Steamboat fan when I was a little girl, so that fandom has gone into adulthood with me. Although this match I would consider it a banger.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because you got two semi-retired people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure. I don't think Jeff Jarrett wrestles full time anymore. I think he's just a part-time gig.
He definitely picks and chooses his. He's definitely very picking and choosing his thing. His spots. I don't know how retired he is, but you're right. He's kind of stepped back into that management spot, but he is getting a tremendous if this is his final run, which it probably is, he's getting a great run. I think he
really is, and you can't argue with that.
Nope.
I know. I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but it's just being true,
right.
And with Danielson, such technique and technical, and those kicks. Oh my Lord! I thought I felt those kicks a minute or two.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this was one of those the no disqualification. The fight out into the stands, into the concessions area. There's a couple guys going buck wild in there. That's I always miss I feel like they need to do another Dippin' Dots spot. Not the Dippin' Dots, but a throwback to the first year of AEW. But tremendous match. It went back and forth all the way. Finally, Danielson gets the win. And then, of course, Swerve and Nana come out. Swerve has some choice words for, yep, exactly. Some choice words for Danielson. And after, Nana was doing his thing, what are your thoughts building up? And are you excited for this match at all in? And who do you think's walking away with the title? And I mean, it's essentially title and career here.
Well, hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
I'm excited for the match because All In. Not only is it my special day, my birthday, but
nice.
It's a special day for Bryan Danielson and Swerve because whose house?
Swerve's house.
But you know what I'm thinking?
What's that?
I think we're gonna get a Swerve in this match, and I'm gonna say Danielson wins, but then loses it all out.
Interesting.
Yes.
So he'll get his farewell win, and then lose to who? Who does he lose it all? Or is it going to be the winner in the gauntlet? Isn't there like a gauntlet match or something coming up?
Yeah, I think there's a gauntlet or a tournament. I don't know who's in the gauntlet, so I don't say. Do we have eyes on the inside?
Well, this is a Mind Runner prediction.
Okay.
Take it for what it is.
Okay.
with Lucha Brothers looking to leave, you know, there's one member of Death Triangle that's remaining behind that desperately needs a push. One of the most tremendous athletes, a day one wrestler for AEW. Yes, they tried to make him Mighty Mouse in WWE, but I think it would be interesting to see Pac win a shot and take on the winner of this match. And if you have Swerve versus Bryan Danielson at All In, you know, of course, Hangman is losing his mind. He might get involved. Have Hangman versus Swerve in a steel cage or do some kind of crazy gimmick match at All Out. Have Danielson versus Pac and have Danielson drop the belt to Pac at All Out.
Oh, I can't argue with that at all because I love Pac. You know my love for Pac.
Yep.
I got him in my draft, so that's
and
why.
then you build a feud of Swerve versus Pac.
Yes.
Which I mean, put that in my vein. That'll carry us to Full Gear. Put that in my veins. I mean, that would be tremendous.
And that would be me saying, "Take my money."
Take my money. Take my money. Well, you know, before we sign off, we do have to talk about the AEW internet exclusive.
Yes.
There was the backstage interview after the match where Jeff Jarrett was cutting a very nice interview with Renee. He's got Karen Jarrett and Jay Lethal there. When suddenly out of nowhere, Hangman Page comes bursting onto the scene, beats the crap out of Jeff Jarrett. He and Jay Lethal go at it. Karen Jarrett screaming like a banshee. And then as the staff was trying to separate them, out of nowhere, Mariah May and Tony Storm just appear and start fighting as well. So the staff was just chaos and pandemonium. If you get a chance, go to the social media for AEW and check out this whole chaos.
And it's worth to watch, everybody, because I watched it and I was entertained.
Yes.
And was also concerned about the good man, Jeff Jarrett, because I noticed when he was doing the interview, he was bleeding, looked like from the ear.
Yep.
So we hope he did not rupture eardrum or something like that. But this was crazy pandemonium. But
and it started all quiet like a regular interview, and then just all of a sudden, bam!
There goes a crazy Hangman.
Well, anyways, that was our Dynamite. I'm excited for next week. It's going to be awesome. Of course, Full Tilt Deb and I are going to be at the Norfolk show. Woo-hoo! So we'll be taking pictures and getting all kinds of stuff going. But thank you all for tuning in. And on behalf of Miss Courtney, instead of SBD, I am Mindrunner. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Thursday. Until then, keep it too sweet.